Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What should Muslims do to prepare ourselves for the return of the Khilafat? Many attempts were made by the rulers of the Muslim world in earlier times to conquer Istanbul, just so that they will fulfill the Holy Prophet's prophecy.
Yes.
And eventually, Sultan Mehmed Fatih succeeded. Prophet ﷺ said that Istanbul will be conquered a second time.
Yes.
What do we, the Muslim world, do to fulfill this prophecy? Do we just sit and wait for Mahdi alayhi salam?
No, you don't sit empty. Now, you think moving around and being busy without knowing what you're doing, where you're going to, sit. It is going to bring back the Khalifah. It is not. The Khalifah is going to come. The Istanbul is going to be conquered a second time. But the second time that is going to be conquered, it is not going to be ordinary. The first conquest of Istanbul, Constantinople, Constantinople, it was not a normal conquest either. There were so many miracles that happened, it has to be. But Muslims don't know this. Those who do, they don't believe this. So many Muslims don't want to know this. So this is a big danger. What are Muslims supposed to do? Do Muslims believe this? Majority of the Muslims, do they believe this? If they believe it, they're going to prepare themselves for it. How are you going to prepare yourself for it? That is a big question, isn't it? If you believe in it, you're going to prepare yourself. But we're looking, are the Muslims really preparing themselves for the coming of Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam or the Khalifah? Or are they preparing themselves for springtime? Last spring until now, this spring is going to come every year. It's going to be spring. Arab spring, this spring, that spring. This is preparation. Whole Islamic nations. Don't tell me, oh, we believe, but we can't wait to do something. Don't tell us just to sit and to wait because we want to do something. You're not even sitting, and you're not waiting, and you're not believing. If it is, give me the proof. From east to west, north to south, Muslim countries as a nation, are they preparing for the appearance of the Khalifah? Are they asking for the appearance of the Khalifah, of the Ottomans to come back? No, they're not. Small groups maybe here and there. Small groups. As a nation, as a community, they are not. If there is anything in so many Muslim countries, don't speak about Khilafat. They even forbid you from saying it, isn't it? It is against the law to say it. Democracy, hypocrisy. That is going to save us. That is going to bring Hazrat Mahdi to come back. They are claiming this. If they are not claiming this, this is what they're doing. This is what they're preparing. So, you want to prepare for Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam to come? Yes, come here. We will tell you how to prepare for him. The preparation now is not to, what? Preparation for what? To get guns? To go to boot camp? That is not how you're going to prepare. Armageddon is going to come. And the war that is going to happen is going to be a war that is going to be fought not with physical technology, but with technology of the spirit. Because Dajjal is going to come with the weapons of mass destruction, not physically, but coming from the evil side, evil sources. It's going to look like a miracle. So many Muslims are going to be fooled by that too, and they're going to be behind him, yes. But the believers under Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam, they are going to be Ahli Kiram at that time. That is how you're going to prepare yourself. Are you building up? How are you going to prepare? Are you making your daily zikr, your awrat? Are you connecting yourself to awliya Allah? Are you sitting and are you understanding and are you carrying sunnats? That time, one sunnat, for example, people are looking down on sunnats. Wrong. Looking down, well, this is not going to change the world. That means you have no knowledge of nothing. Carrying one sunnat, number one. In the Akhir Zaman, you get the blessings and the reward of 100 martyrs. The rewards and the blessings of 100 martyrs of the time of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. That is how you're going to prepare, because you need that kind of strength to fight that war that is going to come. Not a physical war, but a war that concerns the spirit. That is how you're going to prepare. You're not going to sit and wait. You're going to sit on that sajda and you are going to prepare. You're going to live your life according to the sunnah of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. You're going to start carrying his sunnah that so many Muslims, they look down on. And they say, well, it's free. Islam is free. I can dress like a monkey. I can wear a suit and a tie. It doesn't mean I'm not a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. Wrong idea. Islam came with its own identity. And Holy Prophet ﷺ, just on that side alone, there's so many other layers of Islam, because Islam is a civilization. Just on that alone, Holy Prophet is saying, don't look like the unbelievers. Don't look like the Jews and the Christians. You have your own identity. Yes, we did that for 1300 years. For 1300 years, the Jews and the Christians tried to look like us. But since we lost the Khalifah, we started to look like them. What did we gain? What did we gain? Nothing. More humiliation. The miswak. No, that's not really important. You know, more important is to gather ourselves into groups and to be socially active and to try to change that. Number one, you don't understand now. This time has been given to the tyrants. Jababira. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this time to the tyrants. You cannot change it. Who can change it? Awliya Allah can change it. You are not awliya Allah. I'm not saying to you personally, of course. I'm just being general with it. Awliya Allah can change it. The lowest level awliya Allah, they can change the direction of this world. But they pulled themselves back because that is the order. But with one miswak, it did change history. There was a war that the Holy Prophet ﷺ, his Sahabis, they went to. Sahaba Kiram went for a war to fight against the unbelievers who are running after them to finish them off. But they lost that war. They tried, they couldn't. They tried, they couldn't. One time they couldn't try it. They sit and they think there must be something wrong that we did not do. Something wrong that we did. Something that we didn't do. Then they understood. One Sahabi said, yesterday when I was making my wudu, I did not use a miswak. Because that is sunnah. It was for that reason that the war, they did not win that war. This is belief, and this is holding tightly to that belief. Yes. So Istanbul is going to be conquered a second time. But that war is not going to be a physical war. That war is going to be a spiritual war. Which means now, this whole world is attacking the spirit. This whole world is weakening the spirit. This whole world now, it is against Islam and the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Say yes or no? Of course. This whole world is now against that Holy Prophet and against his lifestyle and his teachings. Both non-Muslims and Muslims. The proper way of his lifestyle. Don't tell me, oh, so we have 1 billion Muslims. 1 billion Muslims, we cannot control this world. There was only 124,000. They controlled from east to west, north and south. During the time of the Sahaba Kiram, the Tabi'ins, for 1300 years, a handful, always a handful of Muslims were able to control. And not only to control, then to bring justice and civilization. And every country and every nation that has Islam, that touched Islam, nothing but goodness was given to them. So what happened now? 1 billion Muslims, we cannot change our own destinies. We cannot change our own lives. We cannot even pull ourselves up from that humiliating position. Why? I'll tell you why. Because we look at the unbelievers and we say, follow their way to come out from this mess. We're not looking at what the believers are saying. We're not looking at what Holy Prophet is saying. How to come out from that mess. The mess that we are in now, Holy Prophet is saying, pull back. Sit and wait. Not empty. Be with the Salihin. Be with the awliya Allah. Be with those ones who knows the secret of those days and how to prepare yourself for those days. Because if something happens physically to this world, physically the unbelievers are more prepared than us. They have huge cities underground that they've already prepared. Not yesterday, so many decades ago. For any eventuality to happen, anything that's going to happen, they can go there and they can escape and they can live for years, maybe. So how are Muslims going to prepare? Not that way, not physically. Yes. You're saying, yeah, but you know, there's also the physical aspect. We cannot just push all of that aside. Then you're not understanding this is second Jahiliyyah like the first Jahiliyyah. First Jahiliyyah, when the Holy Prophet ﷺ was fighting against the unbelievers, the odds were all stacked up against him. There was no way, no how that ever they were going to win. In the Battle of Badr, Holy Prophet ﷺ, he was not sitting there laughing and joking and so confident that Allah is on his side and everyone is going to be happy and everyone is going to be victorious and we're going to defeat the unbelievers. No. He was not. He was crying and he was begging his Lord. And he was saying, Ya Rabbi, grant us victory. Although we are only 313 against 4,000 and we only have a handful of horses, handful of camels. We don't even have swords or anything to fight against this 4,000. We have hundreds of camels and horses and all the latest equipment and weapons to defeat us. Help us, Ya Rabbi. If you don't, there will not be a single person on this earth to say your name. Help us. He did not take Allah for granted. He did not take Allah for a joke. And he did not say, well, okay, fine. We have faith, we have Allah, but you know, we have to start getting more weapons. We have to start, because we're living in this physical world, we have to... No, he didn't. Because he understood what was the time and what was the place and what is the protocol of that time and place. Now, after the first Jahiliyyah, subsequent wars that happened, the time and the place shifted. So that time, certain things will have to be accommodated to that. When it came to the time of Sultan Mehmed Fatih Khan, Hazrat Lari also, he had certain weapons, of course he had to use, but up against the protection that they have placed, that the Byzantines have placed in Istanbul, in Constantinople, it was impossible to break through, definitely. Not only with that underwater iron net that is blocking all ships from entering, they're also protected by the geography. There are thick walls protecting them, and they have soldiers, they have all the equipment and all the technology. And that was when Sultan Mehmed Fatih Khan, with his whole troops, he crossed, and later on his grandson also crossed. One crossed the ocean with his horses, that when the Christians and the Byzantines, they look, they say these ones are unusual ones, and they flee because they are walking on the water. So many miracles happened. They did not just sit around talking about the physical aspect of things. They were worshipping day and night and relying on Allah. That's why Allah gave them certain unusual qualities. So they crossed the water, they went from on top of the mountains. And later, Sultan Salim, when he took the Khilafat, when the Mamluks, they said it's impossible for him to cross the desert. Nobody has ever succeeded and they will all die. The Sultan was crossing and he got off from his horse and he started walking on the bare sand with the heat. And everyone was shocked. And they say, Ya Sultan, we cannot now go on like this. He says, be quiet. Don't you see the Holy Prophet is in front of us, leading us? Follow him. Yes, unusual things will happen. Muslims lack belief, they lack faith. those unusual things, extraordinary things, things that is of a dimension that is more real than this dimension. But if we are not prepared here and here to understand and to accept that, never is going to come to us, and we're not going to have that kind of technology. So yes, preparing for that. On another point, is not separate from this. I'm saying this because not many Muslims believe in this, that Hazrat Mahdi is going to come and Istanbul is going to be conquered again. So many scholars that the Muslim world, they are looking up to and they are praising, and he is having so much pull everywhere he goes. Thousands of people are believing in him. His videos are everywhere, and you know what he is saying? He is saying that Constantinople was not conquered. He said Sultan Mehmed Fatihan is not the one that the Holy Prophet is mentioning. He is saying that Sultan Mehmed Fatihan, he made one of the most appalling and humiliating, shameful things in Islam by doing that. And he's saying, I swear to you, I'm going to change, that we must pray for the Russians to come and to take back Constantinople, Istanbul, and to make that the Hagia Sophia back into a church. I swear I want to make the Hagia Sophia to be turned back into a church. You don't believe me? Look him up. It's open. He's saying that. Who is he? You got that? So, like they say in high-level schools, learning Latin, Quo vadi? Where do we go from here? With that kind, where are we going to go? With our Shaykh, inshallah, we'll go straight to our Holy Prophet ﷺ and to Allah. But there's a lot of foundational work that needs to be done, a lot of groundwork that needs to be done, and Muslims must understand step by step, not to jump ahead. Huge subject. We'll talk more about it, inshallah. All right. Any other questions?